He is now an invasive species.
Keeps
Rogers are killing the coral. Speaking of fleshy bits, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name is Jordan Dahl.
I am Nate Balding.
And I am Roger Norquist, Esquire, not legally.
Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by Monstroco brand Time Fixative. Have you ever been on your way to an important meeting or a darkened field, only to find yourself accidentally tumbling through time toward an unspecified date and place? Avoid inconvenient time slips with this easy spray-on temporal fixative. One application will fix you to your current date and time irreversibly. Side effects may include time madness, sideways aging, and immortality. Monstroco Time Fixative. Live in the now.
What do you think sideways? Sideways. I can't speak anymore.
Sideways aging.
I'm aging sideways.
Yeah, that one.
I call it the lateral birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, that one caught my eye too. I'm not really sure what that means. I think you get older but keep renewing. So you look like an old baby?
I was also thinking maybe like a Doctor Who situation.
Sure. Wait, Doctor Who?
Who?
Doctor Who?
The Doctor! Doctor
Good
Who!
God. And they did that for 70 minutes and called it content. Welcome, folks. We are going to be, we have a bit of a theme today because as you may suspect, dinos are back in the zeitgeist.
Yes.
It is dino time again.
But before we start that, can we? We'll tease them a little bit. Can I go over this Twitter poll we did?
Oh, we got a Twitter poll. Hell yeah.
We did Twitter poll. We've been doing a lot recently. We're going to keep doing them. The radar, not us, by the way. This is all the radar. The radar thinks for itself. The radar says...
The radar is AI.
Is AI.
The radar asks, what haunts your nightmares? And the people responded, our own dark secrets.
Sure. Yeah, what were the other options?
Shadow people, monsters, and aliens. Shadow people was second, aliens third.
Really? I would have thought monsters would have topped out aliens.
Aliens or monsters are in movies and stuff now. They're too busy to haunt people's dreams.
People are concerned about the aliens. They're coming down. They want your bones. They want your DNA.
Not as concerned as they are about their own deep depression.
Truly.
Anyway, check out our Twitter. We're going to be doing more
manic
polls.
breaks.
Yeah, and
Tell
also
us
check
what you think about stuff.
Also check out BetterHelp. They can do some they can do some amazing things over a Zoom call these days. But we're on Dino Watch, fellas. We're keeping our eyes peeled for creatures from the past because I saw it's official. I saw a commercial for a Jurassic Park themed burger. So we're back to that stage of the game. Where dinosaurs are coming.
93?
It's 93 all over again. Ever since 93, about every 2 years, people started adding barbecue sauce to hamburgers and calling it a Bronto burger.
No, he's not wrong.
And it's that time. So today's theme is living fossils. We are going to explore creatures that were forgotten by time or perhaps misplaced or, whatever. And we're going to start with one of you guys because I want to go last.
All right, I will go first.
Okay, great.
And I am doing my segment on living fossils on the one, the only, although he's got some cousins, the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, great. One of my faves.
I consider this a living fossil for a few reasons. One, it could be and I probably am saying this wrong, a plesiosaur?
I think you nailed it.
You got it.
It could be a plesiosaur or, as we're suggesting in this episode, a living fossil of a plesiosaur. And if you don't know what a living fossil is a I had this up, but then got rid of it because I assumed Jordan was going to go first and explain what living fossils are truly.
I didn't do it.
But a living, you threw me for a loop.
I threw you for a loop.
I jumped through the loop, but got caught with the fire a little bit, and I liked the burn.
Yeah.
So a living fossil is an extant taxon which cosmetically resembles related species known only from the fossil record. To be considered a living fossil, the fossil species must be old relative to the time of origin of the extant clade. That was a bunch of fancy words. What I understood about it was that it looks like the ancestor.
Yeah.
It has gone through very little changes. Crocodiles are a living ancestor. Turtles are a living ancestor. And I'm saying that the Loch Ness Monster is a living fossil of either a plesiosaur or an unknown eel that we've never discovered, but is still in the large living fossil form.
Interesting. The old now you're saying like a giant eel, or are we back to the eel ball?
I'm not. I'm anti-eel ball. I'm thinking this is a huge eel.
This is the king of the eels, right?
Sometimes there's a couple of them that it forms a giant eel ball. That's how they mate.
Yeah, it's erotic. Have you?
It's definitely in the Omega-verse. But the point is...
Nothing more erotic than an eel ball.
It's educational, at least. Did you guys see there was a video recently floating around of an oarfish, one of those massive oarfish in about 6 feet of water, and this guy followed it with his camera. It was crazy. They are sea serpents.
Yeah, no, send that in the Discord.
I will. It's crazy.
But some of the, like the Coelacanth is another example to where this is just a huge fucking fish.
The oarfish might be a living fossil version of the coelacanth.
Sure.
Well, the coelacanth is a living fossil of the ancient coelacanth.
Sure. Coelacanth is such an interesting one because they were finding them in fossils, and everybody was like, oh yeah, it's dead. It's a dead, very old thing. And then it turns out people have been catching them in South Africa for like hundreds of years.
And there's a great video on the YouTube called The Sci Show, hosted by Hank Green, the human encyclopedia of our generation, that explains that living fossils, although they look almost exactly the same, such as, I forgot what it was called, it's that like cephaliopod, the hammerfish or something, the rockfish. It looks exactly like the fossils that they found, like perfectly, the coelacanth included. But genetically, like, it's very vastly different. It does different things. It just kept the outward appearance.
Sure. A successful
exoskeleton,
form.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's what happened here, I believe 100% with the Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
If you're Jeb, who doesn't know the Loch Ness Monster, we're here for you, Jeb. The Loch Ness Monster is affectionately known as Nessie, and it is from Scottish folklore and is said to inhabit, of course, Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands.
Right.
It is described as a large, long-necked creature with one or more humps protruding from the water, which if you ever try to grab an eel in a creek, that's kind of what it looks like, you know?
Yeah, if you ever go creek eeling with Roger, it's just like catching tiny Loch Ness sauruses.
Let's go over the sightings. We have the first Saint Columba in 565. He saw the creature on land. He screamed, "Obey me" or something, and it went away.
Yeah, he tried to he did some faith magic on it. And it was like, fucking all right. Just dove down.
Turned it back to the loch.
He tried to smite it.
After that, we start having appearances in the 1800s. D. Mackenzie, 1888, Alexander MacDonald, Aldy McKay. We have the 30s, starting with him, Hugh Gray, Arthur Grant. The surgeon's photo, which if you type in Loch Ness Monster, you'll see, is
You'll
a
most
hoax
likely
that
say.
happened in 1934 in response to the other sightings in 1933.
Yeah, this was kind of at the peak of Loch Ness monster fever, and a guy, a cool and chill doctor, decided to lie to everyone.
There
For
are
a long
sightings
time.
throughout the years, including recent times. I have a video from May 3rd of this year, the good year of our Dark Lord 2022, titled New Video Capturing Loch Ness Monster Has Experts Debating What Exactly They're Seeing. And this happens so frequently. You can go to many websites dedicated to the multiple sightings that we have each year. I believe last year, 2021, we reached over a dozen Loch Ness Monster sightings. All are waiting, of course, to be corroborated, blah, blah, blah. The last proper sighting is from Google Street View in 2015.
Okay. That is the last time anyone's seen Nessie?
No, that's the last, supposedly, credible, interesting, cultural one that Wikipedia was able to, or not able to, but chose to list.
Sure.
As I said, you can Google just Loch Ness Monster sightings and find a number of articles about how this is the 5th, 7th, 13th sighting of the year.
Right. It's just, yeah. Very few of them are coming from, people who are not screaming and throwing whiskey bottles at the loch. There's a creature!
I'm just hoping the street view is
if
Nessie in a tiny muscle car
speaking
with a rat fink jacket.
Speaking of those excitable ones that are throwing the whiskey bottle at the lake, the Loch Ness area attracts numerous monster hunters. Over the years, several sonar explorations have occurred, notably 1987 and 2003. They were unable to locate the creature, of course, as we don't have definitive proof of the creature. In addition to numerous photographs allegedly showing the beast, notably 1994 was the Wilson's photograph, which unfortunately was a hoax. In 2018, however, researchers conducted a DNA survey of the Loch Ness to determine what organisms live in the water. No signs of a plesiosaur or such large animals were found. However, do we have all the DNA we truly need to study the plesiosaur?
Yeah, some of that DNA floats to the bottom.
However, results indicated the presence of numerous eels, leading open the possibility and my theory that the Loch Ness Monster is a oversized living fossil of an ancient eel that we have not discovered in the fossil records.
Interesting. That's kind of
But the point of all this is that the Loch Ness Monster contributed 80 million annually to Scotland's economy.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a big thing. People go there to have their Loch Ness Monster experience.
I've been there.
However, other than that one research that I
been there.
I don't know.
Have you taken acid at the lake, Jordan? Have you been there?
I put my feet in it.
So that's good enough.
Did they detect my DNA?
I think they did.
I am not an eel.
You might be the Loch Ness Monster.
That is the best evidence we have on the Loch Ness Monster in terms of people seeing something legitimate, because so many people have cited it. I have decades worth of sightings you can find on Wikipedia, let alone do actual research and find the local papers that happen in the dozens each year. People are seeing something large in this lake. And I believe if it can't be a plesiosaur, if we've tested the lake and have the proper plesiosaur DNA and it's not in the lake, then I'm thinking it is an unknown species of eel that is genetically similar enough to where it picks up as eel, but it is a living fossil of something huge that eels used to be when they had to be or could be that huge. It explains kind of why we see a eel-like creature
Sure.
out of the water.
The humps.
As it the humps, the long neck, the short face. Have you ever seen an eel? Which it's all weird faced. It's all
humps.
scrunchy. Yeah.
All humps and short faces.
Exactly. I'm throwing it out there. The Loch Ness Monster is a living fossil of an eel.
Okay.
And that's my segment, the living fossil Loch Ness Monster.
The living fossil neck monster. Okay.
Tons of exclamation marks.
I really like the idea of like a Jurassic Park situation where they're trying to use the DNA to recreate the Loch Ness Monster, and they just grow thousands of giant eels.
It's terrifying.
And I also think it kind of explains why it can't be picked up on sonar. Like, it just can't define well enough down at the bottom to where, like, the eel's just hanging out at the bottom. It doesn't have to go up. It's just literally lying there, so it picks up as dirt.
There is there's a thing called the fin photo, which I think is very interesting. And there's another one that was taken in, I want to say 2014, that looked like the back of a seal or something. I'm going to drop it in the listen along.
Which,
right
I mean, it's eely.
It is eely and sealy. That didn't work at all. Good job, Link.
Because eels do have some flippers. I don't know if that's what they're called, but they have some like parts like that.
Well, there is some people have suggested that this could be some kind of a pinniped, which is, seals, sea lions, that type of thing. But I think that would be much more difficult to remain hidden, because they breathe air.
Fair. It would be hard. Yeah, they would come up a lot more often. It would beach itself because it's a land breather. It's not like, I don't want to be in the water right now. I breathe air. Yeah.
And also a plesiosaur would technically be saurian or maybe even reptilian and would need to breathe air. So an eel makes the most sense, quite honestly. There's also a theory pitched by a guy who I think his last name was Wilson.
That'd be that Wilson guy I think I talked about maybe for just a small second.
Yeah, he named the mysterious creature Cadborosaurus wilsii, and he says he seems to think that these are a species of animal that are spread across the world, basically.
I agree. As much as I hate eels, except for when they're fried just right at a Japanese restaurant.
Unagi baby.
I agree. I don't like them, but I agree with this man.
All right. Well, there you have it. Loch Ness Monster, eel or real is what we'll call.
That's a better one, other than me just screaming it into the microphone.
Nate, would you like to go next?
Yes.
And I can top her off with some. I have a whole list of potential dinosaur sightings.
It's crazy! It blew my mind when you told us on the chat.
It blows my mind that I haven't seen them because I've been looking.
I was keeping it marine.
Keeping it marine.
This is I don't know if you've heard about the Goblin Shark.
Oh yeah, it's that shark that's also a goblin.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
This is an article from the Daily Mirror, so whatever. Terrifying goblin shark that grows to 20 feet and lives in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean.
Okay.
The ocean is full of weird and wonderful creatures, such as the wobbegong and anglerfish. Whilst some ocean inhabitants are well known and spotted frequently, others are more mysterious. One such animal is the goblin shark, which lives in the deepest depths of the ocean, which few people ever come face to face with this real life monster. So also, this thing in theory, could fit into some Loch Ness theories.
Sure. The main problem that
You get out of here with your theories on the Loch Ness monster.
you get out of here,
I go
you
to the
Goblin
restroom
Sharks.
for 3 minutes because I was holding it because my segment was cool, and you jumping on my monster.
You have the bladder capacity of an eel, sir. That's why the lake is filled with your DNA.
I'm just saying this thing also has eelish tactics. It
You're
just
right.
sits at the depths of the ocean, and
They hang at the depths. That's important. And I also think important to the idea, a lot of people will be like, if there's a Loch Ness monster, how did it get in there? And it's like, it was down there when this wasn't a lake. It was down there when this was part of the sea. Anyway,
yeah,
Very much
I mean-
so.
it's my tirade.
That's how the Loch Ness monster supposedly got in there.
Yeah. Wasn't me.
that or a series of weird caverns.
That or the caverns. I like the caverns theory. You know, maybe Loch Ness is simply a tributary, and there are much more extensive life living in these subterranean caverns that we know to be down there.
You gotta let us down there, Scotland.
Let us
Accept
in.
the Werewolf Radar Grant Expedition.
No, we're using the caverns. Get out with your Goblin Sharks.
Well, I'm about to spear my own theory because the Goblin Shark, or Mitskrina otstoni, was first found off the eastern coast of Japan in 1898.
Okay.
So it primarily lives outside of Scotland.
Okay. Not a Scottish monster.
I mean, it could be.
Could be.
We don't know. They get around.
You know, I mean, if a lionfish can make it in the Gulf of Mexico, why not a goblin shark in Loch Ness?
Exactly. With its unusually long snout and pink skin, the shark was given the name Tenguzame, a reference to a mythical Japanese monster with a long face and demonic jaws.
Yeah, the Tengu.
Which, of course, led to the Western translation, Goblin Shark.
Nice. We've done it again.
Translation is a science.
For many, this animal evokes images of dinosaurs, leading it to be described as fossil-like in appearance. It has pink-toned skin and a distinctive snout shape. It's also long and flat with a protruding jaw and incredibly sharp teeth. Goblin sharks are pink because their skin is translucent, meaning their blood vessels are visible. They have flabby bodies and small fins, both of which contribute to their unusual appearance.
Okay, this is me.
This is just a violent insight on me and Jordan and our
This is just a
ability not able
description.
to absorb sun.
I can absorb it. It just goes right to my pain.
The species is thought to date back to 125 million years.
Good God.
They can grow to 20 feet in length, with the females often larger than the males. Goblin sharks reside and feed near the bottom of the ocean, making them rare. They can reach depths of up to 1,300 meters and have been found in 3 major oceans.
That is too.
That's so low.
That is too deep.
Yeah, and it's not where sharks typically hang out.
Nor goblins.
Well, I mean, we don't know about the
Guess
goblins.
we don't know. Stand corrected.
The sharks are primarily interested in prey that also live near the bottom of the seafloor, including such things as crustaceans, cephalopods, and dragonfish.
Dragonfish? What the fuck is that?
Well, it's a fish that's a dragon.
Oh, well, fair enough.
There have been some instances in which scientists have found goblin sharks feeding above their natural habitat, eating creatures such as the Teuthowinia pellucida.
Of course.
Sure.
I'm sure I'm getting that spot on. This is an interesting thing. Goblin shark snouts give them a unique ability. They're covered in something known as ampullae of Lorenzini, a network of electroreceptors that detect electric fields in water.
Whoa.
Oh, they're
So
they're like the platypus.
Exactly. They follow their prey based on their electrical signal.
Whoa.
Yeah, the platypus follows its electrical signal, then poisons it with a hidden barb we only now found out about.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how they hunt at all. Sorry. I don't want to spread lies about the platypus.
Spurs on their heel.
Well, the goblin shark does something actually quite like that. It has extendable jaws.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Nate has a picture of one behind him for his backdrop, and it looks like somebody stretched a nutsack over a Dark Souls character. It's
Move
awful.
to your right, I think.
Nope. Yeah, that's that's
it. That's why you subscribe to our YouTube, everyone. This image right there.
Yeah,
it's awful.
Well, and those jaws, they shoot out and grab their prey.
Yeah. That's the type of shit you can do when you got no bones.
So they're growers, not showers, huh? Me too.
Is a thrower? Is that a thing? Where your dick launches off of your body?
My dick's been known to throw things.
It's a deeply upsetting critter. Also, I looked up dragonfish. Also upsetting. But it does, the picture of the dragonfish makes it look like this immense leviathan of the deep. And then if you keep searching the pictures, you find out that it's like 6 inches long.
Oh, is it that blue thing that's really poisonous?
No, this is a different thing. I can't go down that road. Horror. We'll be here all day.
Yeah, well.
Like other rare breeds of sharks, little is known about the goblin shark's reproductive habits, as scientists have never been able to study a pregnant female.
But from looking at it, we're pretty sure it hatches from nightmares.
Although the sharks are rare, the International Union for Conservation of Nature has said they're not at the threat of extinction. So it turns out
we're at threat of them.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, they're not stuck here with us. We're stuck here with them.
I mean, the article does go on to say that the creature is said to pose little threat to humans.
Okay, but
as
look
it
at
appears
it.
to be non-aggressive.
Yeah, until
I don't believe that anything with an extendable jaw is actually non-aggressive.
Yeah, non-aggressive, but it still might cause deadly mischief when it's riddling you for gold.
Also, they get up to 20 feet long.
That's too long for something this bad.
How is that not threatening?
By reaching out, I was picturing like it reaches out like 6 inches at most and like grabs something really by it. But you're saying it reaches out like 3 to 5 feet to reach whatever the fuck's in front of it.
Not a good one.
I don't know if we actually know how far the jaw can extend.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the scary things about it is like they don't know a lot about it. It's fucked up looking. I can't stop looking at it.
I'm inspired by it.
Only a few specimens of the rare shark have been brought to aquariums, and they've only survived for a short period of time.
Yeah.
There was another thing that I was reading.
Was it good?
This was from the Wikipedia. So one of them was kept at Tokai University and lived for a week. Another was kept at Tokyo Sea Life Park and lived for 2 days. The meat apparently is dried and salted. If you
Japan,
if you're into that,
what does your research have to do with like how it tastes as well?
It is very funny that like the way you described it sounds like it just comes dried and salted. The meat is dried and salted on delivery.
I mean, that's kind of, I think, what they're implying.
I keep looking.
It's got a salty inside.
Yikes! I keep
It
looking.
could be that they need an ultra saline water, so they follow like crazy salty streams of
Interesting.
water.
Well, and they have some sort of weird liver oil situation.
Whoa.
Me too, brother.
But this is what I'm going to talk about was during April 2003, more than 100 goblin sharks were caught off northwestern Taiwan.
Whoa.
The cause of the event was unknown, though observers noted it was preceded by a major earthquake. They've never seen before in the area and never seen since.
Crazy.
Earthquake unleashed a bunch from the below.
Yeah, the goblin hordes. I found an upsetting article from eurekaalert.org. The biting process, named slingshot feeding by researchers,
I don't like that.
involved the projection of the jaws at speeds up to 3.1 meters per second, the fastest speed recorded for a fish.
That's 0.1 meters less than you fall. That's gravity speed.
Yeah. Far outranking the jaw protrusion of other kinds of shark. Oh,
I thought that
bad.
sentence was truly going to go out, or what was it again? Sorry. Outspeeding?
The faster speed recorded for a fish.
Fastest speed, even faster than the alien from Alien.
Yeah, right. Well, I think that pretty much solves how it's born, right? Out of the chest of fucking
they're bursters.
Careless divers.
Yeah.
Just tons of dolphins getting hit by xenomorph sharks.
Yeah. Scary.
The ocean is a beautiful place.
The ocean is a beautiful, delicate source of nightmares. We need to preserve it at all costs, I'm told.
I'm surprised
every so often
hasn't caught one of these.
Yeah, right? Every so often something comes out of the ocean and you're like, oh, so extinction. Let's talk about extinction. Is it always bad? Can the goblin shark have maybe stayed in the fossil record instead of launching out of it with jaws first at 3.1 meters per second? Scary. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much the long and short on the goblin shark. It's around.
It's around.
It's down there.
Hopefully
it's waiting, watching.
Too deep. Oh God. The problem is it comes up sometimes and I'm like just unlucky enough. It's like, what bumped against my leg? What was that gelatinous yet pointy feeling? Anyway, great stuff. The goblin hordes coming from the ocean this time. Who knew? Maybe, do you think that you can use goblin related tactics to scare off the goblin shark?
What do you mean goblin related tactics? Like fire?
Like beating it with a mace?
Yeah, stuff like that. Superstitious circle of salt. I guess not salt because they're like all salt all day, huh?
Yeah, these guys love it.
Okay. Well, something to think about.
Let's surround the ocean in salt.
It's something to worry about late at night. Okay. For my segment, we are going to bring it on around to North America. And I had to limit this to North America because apparently, and you know what, maybe we'll dip into some of the other ones, but apparently dinosaurs are fucking everywhere and everyone is seeing them but us. I have some modern day dinosaur encounters from us. This is a segment that I am calling Dinosaurs of North America.
Yeah.
And we are going to start with something that I told you guys about last week because we wanted to talk about it. The Georgia Raptors.
Yeah. You guys got a little taste of it at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah. So first of all, if you search Georgia Raptor, you will come up with a number of birds of prey conservation centers. You need to put in. Important. It is important. So donate to that and then add cryptid to your search. This comes from fandom.com. They do a lot of good work on the cryptid front. The Georgia Raptor is a true odontid-like creature said to have been sighted in Georgia on July 25th, 2008. An 18-year-old man and his grandfather were hunting deer at night in Georgia when they saw an animal which they described as closely resembling a quote-unquote raptor from the popular Jurassic Park movies. It has been suggested that it might have actually been a true odontid. This is the sighting.
Crazy.
It is wild. This is the sighting in the words of the own fella, the young lad. This happened to me and my grandpa on a hunting trip in July 2008. I don't see my grandpa very often, so I always take the chance to take trips with him. Grandpa is pretty much an outdoorsman and enjoys hunting, fishing, and just being out in nature. Until today. Just kidding. Oh no, my past.
After this day, I never saw Grandpa again. I never wanted to.
I brought my Raptor costume and scared the shit out of him.
Grandpa and I were out in the woods. It was around 3:30 o'clock on Friday, 25th of July. And this is early in the morning. I was 18 at the time. We were on Grandpa's land in Georgia. It's a pretty place with the typical Georgia woodland and a few grassy plains. We were walking on a little rocky road headed for a site where Grandpa often sees deer. As normal, there were lots of sounds going on at night in the woods. We ignored most of them and remained quiet, not to scare anything away.
Can I just say, Grandpa's land sounds like a really shitty brothel.
Welcome to Grandpa land. What kind do you like? Suddenly, we heard an unusual noise we never heard before on our many hunting trips. Grandpa looked at me and listened. Then he raised his finger to the front of his mouth to show me that we shouldn't make any more movements. I heard a lot of movement and more noise. I can't really describe the sounds, but I sure can describe what I saw, even when it was pretty dark. Boy, I wish he could describe the sounds.
Staring down the barrel of a gun, going, "Clever girl."
Yeah,
I think it's hard to describe sounds that you never have heard before. And I think this is one of those creatures that, like, what even is an analogy or analogous or whatever the word is to a raptor in our society? Like a huge bird, I guess. But
yeah, I imagine.
I can't describe a huge
Probably
bird.
like a high-pitched warbling.
Sure, or like a battle chicken.
A war turkey makes a similar sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking like
I sure can describe what yeah, sure, or like kind of a.
Yeah.
We just kept listening to the sounds.
It's all chicken noise.
As suddenly something came walking slowly out of the bushes and onto the road, maybe 150 yards in front of us. It's pretty far. My eyes got really big, and at that moment, I wasn't even scared, just amazed to see this creature. We didn't move. As crazy as it sounds, it looked just like a raptor from the popular Jurassic Park movies. I just froze because I thought things like that lived many thousands of years ago. It had a long, stiff tail, walked on 2 feet, and had short arms. It looked lizard-like and had a huge claw on both of its feet and smaller claws on its arms. Since the creature appeared to us that it could run fast, we decided to just not move at all. It raised its head in the air.
Move.
And it seemed to be smelling the air. I estimated its height at around 5 feet at the shoulders. After sniffing the air, it made these sounds again and turned around and ran off into the bushes. Grandpa and I waited until we felt safe again, and then quietly made our way back to the truck and drove home. In the truck, we talked to each other about what we had seen and decided to not tell it to Grandma because she would think we were crazy. I never believed in stuff like ghosts and creatures, and I still don't believe in ghosts. But since that encounter, I believe in creatures that science doesn't know about. That's my story. As odd as it sounds, I know what I saw.
Well, oddly enough, science does know about it because it was a popular feature in a movie.
In the movie Jurassic Park. I also heard a woman call in an encounter in I think Kentucky, maybe. somewhere else in the South. It wasn't Georgia, but she called into, I want to say Monsters Among Us, which is an incredible kind of firsthand account podcast. And she said that it was very small. It was about the size of a chicken, and it had feathers, the one that she saw.
Which does fit our now proper
actual raptor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So honestly,
sounds like this guy saw a sandhill crane. I don't know.
like this
the
asshole.
bird theory's stupid.
Yeah, you saw some sort of fucking Utah raptor. Get the hell out of here. We're talking velociraptors, baby. So there you go. The American South seems to be a good place to spot raptors, or troodontids, as they are known in paleontological circles. But if you want to see a pterodactyl, you're gonna have to go a little further north to North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Not too much further. This is an article.
The Carolinas get a lot of those.
This is the article from charlottestories.com, and this is from 2021. Flying dinosaur sightings are on the rise in North Carolina.
Yes.
North Carolina has long been home to legends of Bigfoot, the Lake Norman monster, and lizard men. But recently, there's been a growing belief of modern pterosaurs living in North Carolina. Pterosaurs were flying reptiles that many scientists believe were extinct a long time ago, a living fossil, if you will. Cryptozoologist Jonathan Whitcomb, author of the books Modern Pterosaurs, Searching for Ropins and Finding God.
Wait, what?
And beat that kid in chess. Okay, so Jonathan Whitcomb,
branching out in genres,
has authored 3 books that we know of. One called Modern Pterosaurs, one called Searching for Ropins and Finding God, and one called Beat That Kid in Chess. Which is, we don't need to make any jokes here. These speak for themselves. The ropin, by the way, is a popular cryptid, I believe, a North African cryptid that is also described as a pterosaur, which we won't be touching on today because not in America. He commented that my associates and I believe that there are non-extinct pterosaurs, what many persons would call pterodactyls or flying dinosaurs. Cynthia Lee, who has been studying to become a veterinary technician, reported to Whitcomb an apparent pterosaur that she saw on Thursday, January 4th, 2021 in Raleigh. She was sure that the flying creature had no feathers, but it did have a long tail with a diamond-shaped bulb at the end of the tail. It also had a head crest. She also spotted the creature last week following Wednesday's snow. Lee was taking an Uber ride to work when she saw the same crested creature out the window. The driver did not see it. Her recent sightings in Raleigh weren't the first occasions someone in Cynthia's family had seen an apparent pterosaur. How would it survive in the snow? I mean, I guess if they were,
it's
endothermic.
Carolinas, like
sure.
I had
it's
a
still
thought,
pretty temperate.
I had a thought, though, that climate change keeps happening the way it is. Everyone's ecosystem gets fucked up. Carolinas get massive amounts of snow from now on. These creatures are going to have to migrate. So soon we're going to have even more reports of these sightings because they're moving and they just can't hide like they used to.
They're going to be moving.
Mm-hmm.
She told Whitcomb...
You think they're going to leave their home, man?
She told Whitcomb about a sighting many years earlier. My mother and uncle saw one too while they were playing outside of my grandma's house when they were really little. They told grandma, but she didn't believe it. I thought they were extinct. Since she has seen for herself, however, Cynthia no longer believes that they are all extinct. These are a few other sightings from North Carolina of a similar creature. In Charlotte, North Carolina, a man and his cousin saw something bringing to his mind the word dragon. The man said it looked like what I had seen in a Jurassic Park movie.
A dragon, like in those Jurassic Park movies.
Yeah, I was thinking of Dragon Jurassic Park. Nothing. There's nothing there. Next, in Asheville, North Carolina, a lady saw a huge black winged creature fly very low over her car. It had no feathers, but quote unquote sharp edges to its features. In Jacksonville, North Carolina, an eyewitness saw something also huge flying in the sky. It looked like a pale greenish white, smooth-skinned creature. It didn't appear to have any feathers, and it had a tail with a diamond shape on the end.
These are a lot of corroborating descriptions.
Mm-hmm. North Carolina
getting around.
Is considered by many cryptozoologists to be one of America's 7 pterosaur hotspot states.
7.
7.
One of 7.
7. The others including Utah, California, and Texas.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We're going to move on to a story from Mysterious Universe, which is another great podcast, even though some of their views on vaccination are weird. This is a story, firsthand account. This happened to me and my grandpa. Oh, no, wait. This is the same exact one that I just read. Son of a bitch.
But it's exciting.
Back to Grandpa's land.
Back to Grandpa's paradise.
That kid just broke in again. Did you hear me about that raptor in Georgia?
Yeah. This article actually led me to something called the Colorado River Lizards. You ever heard about the Colorado River Lizards? You guys have been to Colorado,
but I'm
allegedly.
to catch one.
Absolutely. It sounds like what what you would call a beer, right? When you're on like a river trip. Like, hand me one of them river lizards.
100%.
or like a state college basketball team.
Sure, the river lizards.
Fort Collins got a good shot this year with the Colorado River Lizards.
This is also from fandom.com, and I'm shocked that I've never heard of the river lizards, because this is apparently a huge thing in Colorado. River lizards, also known as river dinos and mini rexes, are saurian cryptids said to live across the southwestern states, particularly clustering around the Four Corners region of Colorado, which I've been to. I spent a lot of time down there, and I can see it. Appearance: the dino is said to walk exclusively on its hind legs, to stand about 3 feet tall, and to have arm-like appendages instead of forelegs. Investigator Nick Suchik, who first heard about the dinos from individuals involved in the shadowy animal trade, said of the creatures, "The reptile usually is seen near a wet environment and moves swiftly with grace."
So wait, does he have one?
That implies someone has one.
Hey, look, listen.
That implies a drug lord in Florida has one.
I'm just telling the story. I mean, you saw the YouTube video about the lady in Texas who thought she saw a Tyrannosaurus Rex, a small one, running through her backyard.
You're right.
And it had a fucking collar on. It was dragging a leash.
Oh. No, the shadowy animal underworld, I don't want to... Listen, you guys, if you're listening, shadowy underworld, please don't capture us and make us your new pet.
And also, just cool it. Hey, cut it out. Sightings. An early sighting of a river dino came from a couple who had been on a trip to Arizona. While there, they claimed to have seen the carcass of a reptile, the likes of which they had never seen before. It looked like a toy to them, claimed Suchik. In 2002, a couple sighted a river lizard in Cortez, Colorado. They gave a detailed account to the report to KSL TV News. This is the quote. "It was a Jurassic Park flashback. I mean, I couldn't believe it."
I mean, every one of these articles cites Jurassic Park.
It really does.
Makes me think that it's a bit of a mass hysteria situation.
But I gotta say, if I saw a dinosaur, that is my touchstone. I guess that's
the reference.
Yeah. This was Shannon Tsitzend. Tsitzend and a girlfriend were driving down this road the night of July 5th. She says a creature ran in front of the headlights, a very big lizard, nearly vertical, running on its hind legs. We were, freaked out. Immediately, we thought it was some kind of dinosaur, huge lizard. So we came home.
Some sort of thunderous lizard, potentially.
Yeah. That's so funny that they were just like, I don't even want to go out and dance tonight. Come on, let's just go home. I don't even want to go get tequila drunk now. She says they just walked in and they were real excited and said, "We just saw a little dinosaur across the road," says Stetson's husband, Keith. "Looked like a little dinosaur in Jurassic Park that surrounded everybody in the tall grass fields." This lady gives only her first name, B, because she's reluctant to go public with her story. But she says, "Yes, I have, because I have seen it, because people think you're nuts," B says. "Like a miniature dinosaur, you know? They would be as close as I can come to describing it, and I've never seen anything like it."
Well, joke's on her. Well, actually, not jokes on her, but fact is, dinosaurs come in all sizes.
But also, once again, you have seen something like it in the famous movie Jurassic Park. These are some encounters, if you will. One pair of witnesses, a mother and daughter who had been driving through the Yellow Jacket area of Colorado in 2001, described it as having a long neck and skinny legs like a bird and looking like a cross between a bird and a dinosaur. However, it had no feathers and its arms seemed to extend from its upright neck rather than its body. That's weird. These women estimated that the creature would measure about 5 feet if stretched from neck to tail. Prior to this, in early 1996, a Coloradan woman from Mesa Verde area saw what she described as not a lizard, really, about 3.5 feet long and 3.5 feet high. It moved very fast, as far as I can remember. There were only 2 legs that seemed to balance it. This animal had a cone-shaped snout and a tail around 2 feet in length. The woman proceeded to consult with Jeff Tulin, an expert from the Reptile Reserve who had heard other similar reports. Tulin conceded that from the description he had heard, no match to any known species could be made, and that due to the local climate, no lizards could have lived through the winter.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most remarkable mini-Rex claims of all, however, are a couple attesting to the alleged capture of living specimens, one of which was even supposedly kept as a pet for a while by its captors. This latter case featured testimony given to one of Nick's correspondents by his aunt. They claimed that sometime between the end of the Great Depression in America, late 1930s, and the early 1940s, while following the crop harvests from state to state as they traveled out west, what they called a baby dinosaur, and which seemed to them to resemble a tiny T-Rex, would come to their camp with when their mother was cooking outside. One day they succeeded in catching it and afterwards kept it inside an old bird cage for a time, feeding it on leftovers and finding that it would eat both meat and vegetables. According to Nick's account of this fascinating little animal, quote, "It was described as having a sharp little hooks on its hands and very sharp teeth like that of a kitten. Its skin was like that of a lizard's but felt warm. It never tried to bite or scratch, but it did not like being held. The animal behaved like a tame squirrel. During the time they kept their pet, it grew from the size of a kitten to roughly the size of a cat, by which time it was far too big for the cage."
You imagine
when was this
being
one?
in a Dust Bowl camp and these people roll in with a fucking dinosaur?
So we have a Dust Bowl camp, so that is 1930, late or mid to late 1930s, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, Depression era, yeah.
We just now kind of have learned that saurians weren't the cold-blooded creatures that they are, and actually pumped, like they were more like us, like they would have been warm to the touch.
Like birds, probably.
Mm-hmm. So that's phenomenal that it's like keeping up with like our modern analysis of
wild, right?
Dinosaurs.
Even some of the descriptions are like it looked like a cross between a bird and a dinosaur. It's like, yeah. It would, wouldn't it?
It moved.
I just figured that somewhere out there, there's a recording of a Woody Guthrie song about this thing. It's been lost to time.
Oh, the tiny Rex will lead us to a socialist paradise.
Lead us, tiny Rex.
Incredible. River lizards. Eventually, the family had to move elsewhere in order to follow the crops, so their father told them to leave their pet behind. Fucking dumb, practical asshole. Of a special interest here is that when the aunts first told their nephew about their unusual former pet back in the 1970s, They remembered that when it ran, it flattened out, stretched its head out front, tail out back, and was really fast.
Moves like a land-based raptor.
Yeah. As pointed out by Nick, whereas this running posture is widely accepted nowadays by paleontologists for bipedal fossil dinosaurs, it wasn't back in the 1970s. So if the ants had been making up their story, they were remarkably prescient concerning this particular facet of dinosaur behavior. Got another one for you. One not so mini Rex was reported by a lady called Myrtle Snow. First of all, incredible name.
Great name. Your parents did right.
Absolutely. Who seems blessed with an extraordinary ability to encounter these mystery reptiles. Judging at least from the fact that she's
a dino psychic.
She's a dino psychic this summer on ABC. She claims to have done so on several occasions throughout her life in and around Pagosa Springs, Colorado. All right, Pagosa Springs. Werewolf radar fortune for one of your dinosaurs. Let us know. As documented by Nick, perhaps the most dramatic incident described by her allegedly took place during around the late 1930s when, following the loss of several lambs to an unknown predator, a Pagosa Springs rancher armed a shepherd and asked him to keep guard of the remaining flock. This he did very successfully by shooting dead a large mysterious creature deemed to be the predator, whose carcass was then placed on a sled and hauled back to the ranch by one of its Apache ranch hands using a team of mules. After being deposited in the barn there, the specimen was viewed by many local farmers, including Snow's grandfather, who took Snow, then still a girl, with him, so she could see it too. 1982, following its publishing an article on the subject of whether prehistoric dinosaurs had been cold-blooded, Snow wrote to the Rocky Mountain Empire magazine, the Sunday supplement of the Denver Post newspaper, describing all of her alleged encounters with supposed modern-day dinosaurs, including her up-close viewing of the deceased mystery beast shot by the shepherd. Another case of reputed mini-Rex capture came to light when a lady wrote to Nick Suchik to inform him that her 3 boys had once caught such a creature in New Mexico. The specimen in question was unusually large but slow-moving, and when they caught it, they could see that it was old, with fainter body coloration than other faster specimens that they had previously seen, but had never succeeded in capturing. Its body alone measured 20 to 24 inches, i.e. not including its lengthy tail. But after admiring this impressive creature for a while, the boys released it. Interestingly, they referred to it as a mountain boomer.
Oh, they have a special colloquial name, like they're familiar with it.
Yeah, so
I thought that was mushrooms.
Listen, man, it might be mushrooms.
Have you ever seen the dino?
You ever dance with a dino in the weird moonlight? There is a link to the Mountain Boomers page of the oh, you can hear Larry behind me having a dream about fighting a dinosaur. This is the Mountain Boomers page
Larry,
from fandom.com.
Specify as a dog and not someone that Jordan keeps under the desk.
Not a weird dinosaur hunter that I'm putting up at my place until he can make it out west. Mountain boomers are saurian cryptids said to haunt the forests and roadsides of West Texas. Their name is apparently a reference to the thunderous sounds these monstrous reptiles make when they bellow out from the distant canyons. Many old-timers from the foothills claim to have known someone who has stumbled upon these menacing creatures feasting on roadkill.
See, I would have called them echo geckos.
See, that's great.
Once again, we also have proper raptor behavior that we now know what they would do. Like raptors weren't like the vicious wolf killers. Like they would obviously eat just any carcass that comes by. Yeah, just like wolves, they would scare off something and then eat a carcass that's already dead. That's the easiest solution.
Pretty wild. That is the last of my kind of firsthand encounters because we're getting close to the end of the app here. But what do you guys think? I mean, for me, it makes sense that like surviving dinosaurs would be the smaller ones, not the ones that are tromping around your Congos, your Macaulay Mbembes, etc.
It's too big.
it does seem large. It does seem like something this small could maybe, in the event of kind of a global catastrophe, find its way underground. They could maybe be living in caverns, as it were, finding their way to the surface as
eating dead animals that they find, just
who
carrying
knows?
life.
Yeah, maybe we're fracking them out. Maybe they're like all of this weird liquid is polluting our subterranean caverns, so now we're coming for your cats.
You heard it here first.
Check your cats.
Check your cats.
It does sound like they're out there for sure.
It sounds pretty convincing, but I don't know. Why don't you hit us up on the Twitter? You tell us what you think. If you've seen a dinosaur, what the fuck? Why are you only now telling us? If you are a dinosaur,
Jesus,
what the fuck? We're right here. We've been here for years. Just hit us up. Tell us that dinosaurs are real. The stuff that captures my imagination the most is like the captured pets that people seem to have happened time and time again. That's so strange. And also the descriptions they give are like way ahead of their time.
Very much so. And it shows throughout generations, Americans especially, love of exotic pets.
Except for their dads. Americans' dads have always hated that damn thing. And I don't care if it is the scientific find of the century. We got to get to Montana because we heard there's some corn up there. I will say that this being the Great Depression, we're lucky they didn't eat it.
Very much so.
I mean, we don't know that it didn't become
They ate
food.
it. They ate it, didn't they?
They probably did. It was probably the jerky they ate on the way to Montana for the corn.
The ants just didn't want to tell Nick Suchik, but we ate it and it was incredible. I've had the hunger ever since. I hope they're real so I can eat them. What do you think dinosaur tastes like?
Oh, rattlesnake.
Okay.
Yeah, rattlesnake is probably pretty accurate. I mean, or tastes like dreams.
These taste like mushrooms. Oh, I see them. I see the dinosaurs. I'm thinking fishy chicken.
Okay. Ugh. Like rattlesnake. Flaky
rattlesnake,
chicken,
if you will. Sure. Flaky fishy river chickens. All right, folks. Thank you so much for your continued support of Werewolf Radar, for listening to us in our various
check out my
endeavors.
bluegrass band, Fishy River Chicken.
Fishy River Chicken will be opening for mini racks at Grandpa's Paradise. Shout out to Chuck from Snappy Little Numbers for our intro and outro song. Shut up. Shout out to all of our Dark Council members who follow us on Patreon. Y'all are the best. How about that? How about that ass squatch, huh? Maybe one of my favorite Patreon episodes that we've done this week. Oh, yeah. Make sure you check that out. And follow us on Twitch Mondays, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, twitch.tv twitch.tv/werewolf_radar. I'm Razor Lou. Sorry. You can follow me too, but you won't see our new D&D campaign, which is starting probably next week. We got all the art assets done and or not all of them. I have a lot of art assets left to do, and we are very excited about the new campaign that we are calling Night Bastard. So make sure that you go follow us on Twitch for some live play D&D. And until then,
I think before that, though, make sure you give us 5-star reviews everywhere.
Give us your stars.
Patreon.com/werewolf radar. If you really like what we do, we'll give you paranormal rewards.
Paranormal rewards.
If you want to send us your stories about ghost encounters or cryptid encounters, hit us up.
Tell them.
We have a special section on our website, werewolfradar.com, to where you can hit us up anonymously and tell us your encounters.
You can
it's
hit
just
us
called
up.
Contact Us.
Contact us. We won't make fun of you. We will make fun of ourselves, but we are here to believe you. We're ready to believe you.
Mm-hmm.
So hit us with your crazy stories, no matter how weird. I mean, these motherfuckers are seeing dinosaurs out here, so your thing is fine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In theory, we're still working out the details, but I think we might be having some fun episodes. One with the people of a zombie film.
Hell yeah.
From the UK, so hopefully we can hammer out the details on that.
Also known as zombies. We're gonna be interviewing some zombies.
It's gonna be great. They're mostly gonna go thirst for our brains, but when we detain them and make it safe to talk.
Again, most of the answers to our questions are brains or brain related, but it'll be fun. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening today. 5 stars, please. Until next time, as always, on the count of 3, our regular non-secret sign-off line. 1, 2, 3. Punch the sky!
Space